Good evening, everybody. Welcome. We're going to get started. My name is Kevin Davis. I'm the principal at the high school. So welcome to our financial aid night. I'm going to introduce our speaker for tonight. Her name is Jane O'Brien. I just met her this evening. And she comes to us from the College of New Jersey, the Associate Director of Financial Aid. So she's going to present on how you're going to try to get financial aid for your student who's headed off to college sometime in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. So we are recording this tonight. There's a camera in the back, so we're recording. And Ms. O'Brien is going to share a PDF of the slides, so what I'll be able to do afterwards is send a recorded presentation out. So if you need to go back and listen to something again, you'll be able to do that. For folks who weren't here, they'll be able to see it, and you'll have access to the slides as well. Okay, so no need to take pictures if you don't want to. All right, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Jane O'Brien, one of the Associate Directors of Financial Aid at the College of New Jersey, but I'm here tonight representing HESA, the New Jersey Higher Education Student Assistance Authority. HESA is responsible for the administration of the state aid programs and for organizing programs such as this to get information out to the high school families. This evening, we will cover the types and sources of financial aid, the application process, what information is contained in a financial aid award letter, and how that award letter is created, and other useful information, as well as some time for questions and answers at the end of the presentation. To begin, for sources of financial aid listed on the left-hand side of the screen, we have the federal government. The federal government funds programs that may be familiar, such as the Pell Grant. They also administer the Direct Loan Program, among others. Another source of financial aid is the state of New Jersey. The state also funds many programs. The largest one is commonly referred to as TAG, the Tuition Aid Grant Program. The final source listed there are the colleges and universities that the students will be applying to. Most, if not all, schools offer some type of aid, whether it is scholarship or need-based grant aid. For types of financial aid listed on the right-hand side there, the first two listed, grants and scholarships, are the most desirable. Those are gift dollars that do not have to be repaid. Grants, usually based on calculated need. scholarships on a student's academic merit. Another type of financial aid are loans. As the name implies, they do have to be repaid. We will go into more detail on the federal direct loan program, but most of the loans are deferrable until 6 months after a student graduates or leaves college. The last type of financial aid is employment opportunities. This is the federal work-study program. Most offices on a college campus hire student workers, and they are paid by the hour for the time that they put in. The good news is, for all of these sources and types of financial aid, there is one application to be completed, and that is the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. There were significant changes made to the FAFSA for the current academic year, and those will continue for the upcoming academic year. The eligibility formula was changed. Federal tax information is now automatically transferred to the form. There is no longer an option to manually input the federal tax information. All assets, including small businesses, must be reported. Family size is dependent on exemptions claimed on the 1040. The number of children in college is no longer a factor in the formula. And in the case of divorced or separated parents, the parent whose income information goes into the FAFSA has changed. These are the current income guidelines for grant eligibility for the current academic year. The top chart shows eligibility for single parent households, and the lower chart for married parent household. The family size listed in the left-hand column and the income cutoffs over to the right. Looking at these charts, just to give an example of whether or not the family would be grant eligible. We'll talk now more in detail about the types of financial aid. For the federal financial aid, as I mentioned, the Pell Grant is the largest federal grant. It is need-based. This year, the award amounts ranged from $740 to $7,395. Another federal grant is SEOG, the Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant. This particular one is federally funded, but campus-based, meaning the award amount of SEOG may vary by school. School is given X number of dollars. The school decides which of their students receive SEOG and what amount. At the College of New Jersey, we reserve SEOG for the neediest students, and we award $500 per year. This slide shows a comprehensive list of all of the state grant and scholarship programs, and we will talk about each one in a little more detail. The first is TAG. As I mentioned, this is the largest state grant program, the tuition aid grant. It is a need-based grant. For a student's eligibility to be determined, they must file a FAFSA or the New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid application. As I mentioned, it is need-based. The student must be a U.S. citizen, eligible non-citizen, or a New Jersey Dreamer. Must be a New Jersey resident and attend a New Jersey institution. Any of the state financial aid programs that a student may be eligible for must be used in New Jersey. State aid does not work outside the state of New Jersey. For TAG, the student must be full-time and in an approved degree program and meet all of the state application deadlines. This year, the range of awards at the College of New Jersey from a low of $3,922 to the maximum $10,562 per year. So the largest state grant program is a little bit more generous than the largest federal grant program. Part-time tag is also available for students attending the county colleges. All of the requirements are the same, with the exception of having to be enrolled full-time. There is a summer tag program available. Students who received a tuition aid grant during the academic year and opt to attend summer school at least half-time are eligible for a summer tuition aid grant. Another state aid program is the EOF program, Educational Opportunity Fund. This program is also need-based. The awards range from $200 to $3,050 annually, depending on the type of institution. To be eligible, a student must demonstrate educational or economic disadvantage. Also must file a FAFSA or the New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid application. Another type of state aid is the Governor's Urban Scholarship Program. This is commonly referred to as GUS. To be eligible, a student must rank in the top 5% of their class at the end of their junior year and attain a 3.0 grade point average at the end of their junior year. Attend an approved New Jersey college or university and reside in a designated community. File the FAFSA or the Alternative Financial Aid application. The award amount for GUS is $1,000 per year. Another state aid program is New Jersey STARS. This is a merit-based program for students who wish to begin their higher education at the community college level. If the student who is a New Jersey resident ranks in the top 15% of their class at the end of their junior or senior year, they would be eligible for New Jersey STARS. The award amount is the amount of tuition at the community college. To remain in the program, the student must attain a cumulative grade point average of 3.0 or higher at the start of their third semester at the county college. To piggyback on that, there is a New Jersey STARS 2 program. If a student attended the community college as a New Jersey STAR, received funding, and the family's taxable income is less than $250,000, they may be eligible for New Jersey STARS 2 funding. The student must have earned their associate's degree and graduated with a 3.25 grade point average or higher. If the student meets all of the eligibility requirements, they may be eligible to receive up to $2,500 annually for a public or private four-year college in New Jersey. This type of state aid is pretty specific, but it gives an example of the many different financial aid opportunities that are available. This one is the Governor's Industry Vocation Scholarship for Women and Minorities. This program is need and career-based. The award is for up to $2,000 per year for cost of enrollment at one of New Jersey's 18 county colleges, technical vocational schools, and some proprietary schools. It benefits women and minorities interested in pursuing a certificate or degree program in construction-related fields. The student must be a New Jersey resident, and the family's adjusted gross income must be less than $60,000. As with all state programs, for eligibility to be determined, there must be a FAFSA or the New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid application on file. This particular program, however, does require a separate application, and that is available online at the web address that is listed there. Also listed are some of the programs that are eligible for the scholarship. Another type of state financial aid is the Community College Opportunity Grant, CCOG. This program pays for all or part of the cost of tuition and approved fees at a New Jersey County college. There are 3 tiers of eligibility for the CCOG grant. The first tier is for families with adjusted gross incomes between $0 and $65,000. In that tier, it is the maximum award of tuition and approved fees. The second tier of eligibility is for adjusted gross incomes between $65,001 and $80,000. And that award amount is 1/2 of the maximum award at the county college. The third tier of eligibility, adjusted gross incomes of $80,001 to $100,000, and the award amount is 1/3 of the maximum award at the county college. So the CCOG award is for 2 years of attendance at the community college level. To piggyback on that one, there is a program available for students in their 3rd and 4th year of study, and this one is called the Garden State Guarantee, GSG. This one too pays for all or part of the cost of tuition and approved fees at a New Jersey State college. As I mentioned, it's available for students in their 3rd and 4th year of enrollment. The same tiers of eligibility apply to GSG as they did for the CCOG award, but the calculation of award is a little bit different. The top tier of eligibility is the maximum award for tuition and approved fees. The second tier, the net price is no more than $7,500 for tuition and approved fees. And the third tier, the net price that the family pays is no more than $10,000 in tuition and approved fees. Now we will move on to student loans. As I mentioned, the federal loan program is now referred to as the Federal Direct Loan Program. It has gone through many different names. When I was in school, it was the Guaranteed Student Loan, but it is now referred to as the Federal Direct Loan Program. These loans are made to the student only, so there is no credit check required. The student qualifies regardless of the household income reported on the FAFSA. The current interest rate is 5.5%, and repayment begins 6 months after the student graduates or leaves college. There are 2 types of direct loans, subsidized and unsubsidized. A subsidized loan is need-based, and if a student qualifies for the subsidized loan, that remains interest-free while they're in school. The unsubsidized loan is the opposite of that. It is not need-based, and there is no interest subsidy. The student may still borrow, but the interest is accruing while they're in school. The amount that a student can borrow under the direct loan program increases as they progress in college. First-year students can borrow up to $5,500, sophomores up to $6,500, juniors and seniors up to $7,500. Beyond the student loan program, there are many types of alternative loans. In the financial aid world, we call these private or alternative loans. Under these loans, families can borrow up to the total cost of attendance for each academic year. Different terms apply to the loans. In some cases, the parent only can be the borrower. In some cases, the student can be the borrower with an eligible cosigner. Some examples of lenders are Sallie Mae, PNC, and Wells Fargo. There are many others, and the interest rates and repayments will vary by lender. On the screen is a comparison of two of these types of private alternative loans: the New Jersey Class Loan and the Federal Parent Plus Loan. With the New Jersey Class Loan, the student can be the borrower with an eligible cosigner. However, with the Federal Parent Plus Loan, as the name implies, it is for parents only. And you can see the difference in the interest rates and the repayment terms for the two loans. But for all of these private alternative loans, as I mentioned, the families can borrow up to the cost of attendance for each academic year. Another type of financial aid is the institutional aid. These awards can be based on merit, need, or talent. Some of the factors that may influence eligibility are shown on the screen. At the College of New Jersey, scholarships are available. The decisions are made solely by the admissions office. They notify our office which students are eligible, and then we can include those awards in the estimated award letters that we send. Determination of eligibility is done during the admissions application cycle, and as I said, we can then include the awards with the other financial aid awards. At the College of New Jersey, there is no separate application required for consideration for the institutional scholarships. But that might not be true at each school, so it is important to check with the schools to inquire about institutional scholarship or grant eligibility. And now we'll move on to applications. Shown on the screen are 3 different applications. Most students will complete only one of the 3 that are shown there. I mentioned throughout the presentation about a New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid application. This is also often referred to as the New Jersey Dreamer application, and it is for undocumented students, students who are not citizens or eligible non-citizens. Students would have to complete this New Jersey Dreamer application for consideration for state financial aid. And it is available at the HESA.org website. And as I mentioned, it is limited to certain New Jersey state aid programs. Another application that was shown on the screen is the CSS Profile. This one is used by approximately 400 colleges and organizations to determine how they will award institutional funds. It is not required, obviously, by every school. It did become available on October 1st, and it collects more comprehensive income, asset, and household information than the FAFSA does. It does, however, align with the FAFSA's use of prior year income. I'm not sure why it is termed prior year, but basically it means 2 years back. Students who are seniors in high school this year will graduate in 2025. So the FAFSA that they will be completing is for the 25-26 academic year. So the base year income, therefore, is from 2023. The CSS Profile is free for families whose incomes are under $100,000. All others will pay $25 for the first college and $16 for each additional. This slide shows the CSS Profile website and customer support contact information. But again, not everyone requires it. So it's another case where you would have to check with the schools that your students are interested in applying to see if they require the CSS profile. Now we'll move on to the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. This is the one that most families will complete. The 25-26 FAFSA is available now. They did make it available a couple of days ahead of the December 1st promise date. The FAFSA collects a family's personal and financial information and uses it to calculate the Student Aid Index, SAI. The FAFSA is filed electronically at the website that is shown there, studentaid.gov. And again, it uses that prior year income information, which in this case is 2023. Another relatively new term for FAFSA filing is this word contributors. A contributor is anyone who is providing information on the FAFSA. That is basically the student and the parents. Whoever the contributors are, they must provide consent to the IRS to obtain their federal tax information and to sign the form. Because of that, anyone who is a contributor must have a Federal Student Aid ID, FSA ID. It is used to provide consent for that federal tax information and to sign the form. The student and all information contributors must create this FSA ID. It is at the same website, studentaid.gov, and it's clearly marked, create an account. The student identifies who the information contributors are and invites them to contribute to their FAFSA. Each contributor must have their own FSA ID and password. Contributors may include biological parent, step-parent, or adoptive parent. If the parents are married and filed a joint tax return, only one parent needs an FSA ID. In the case of divorced or separated parents, the parent who provided more financial support in the last 12 months is the one who reports their information on the FAFSA. If the parents are married or unmarried and living together but did not file a joint tax return, then they're both considered contributors and both must have their own FSA ID. All contributors are verified by individual email when creating the FSA ID. So everybody has to have their own email address. There are many YouTube videos available for all sorts of financial aid information, and there is one available for creating the FSA ID. The FAFSA is new and improved. Last year was the first year it was entirely revamped. The good news is it is more straightforward to complete it. There are approximately 39 questions on the FAFSA, and it is estimated that it will take approximately 1 hour to complete the form. The form is split into 2 sections, one for student and one for parents. And once a student creates the FAFSA or starts it, it can be saved and then gone back to complete. In our experience, most families will complete it in one sitting, but it is possible to save it and go back. The only thing is, you have to complete it within 45 days of the time that you started. General highlighted eligibility requirements for the FAFSA. The student must have a valid Social Security number. For federal aid, the student must be a U.S. citizen or eligible non-citizen. And the student must be enrolled or accepted for enrollment in an eligible program of study, pursuing a degree, certificate, or other recognized credential. In most cases, students who are graduating from high school and going into college are just that. They are matriculated. They've been accepted into a degree program and are there earning a degree. The key components of the FAFSA: it will collect both student and parent demographic information. Also, student and parent income and asset information. That income information will come directly from the IRS. Assets are self-reported. On the first go-round of the FAFSA, the initial application, a student may list up to 20 schools of interest. The student does not necessarily have to apply to that school. It's any school that they think they might be interested in. And then those schools receive the student's information. At the conclusion of the FAFSA, there is a submission summary screen shown that gives an estimated student aid index. Once a FAFSA is filed, it is possible that additional information will be required. When the FAFSA is filed, the information is sent to the federal processor, to the state processor, and also to the schools. If the federal government requires additional information, the school will be the one to request that information. If the state of New Jersey, HESA, requires additional information, HESA will reach out to the student directly. We mention this because the information requests will go out to the student's email address. So it would be important for the student to monitor whatever email they report on the FAFSA to see if there is an additional information request. Once the FAFSA has been successfully filed and the student has been offered admission, the financial aid offices put that information together and create estimated award letters. These award letters contain not only the award types, the names of the programs that a student is eligible for, and the amounts, but there is also other information contained in the award letter. And now we'll go into a little bit of detail on how the school determines the awards. The first thing that schools consider is the total cost of attendance. What does it cost for a student to attend the school for one academic year? The components include tuition and fees, room and board, books and supplies, equipment, transportation, and miscellaneous personal expenses. The total cost of attendance budget may also include loan fees, study abroad costs, and health insurance if offered by the school. The second thing that the school will consider, the results of the FAFSA. What is that Student Aid Index, SAI? That SAI is determined by a federal formula and is calculated using the information that was supplied on the FAFSA. The SAI is used to create the financial aid package. SAI and financial need are guidelines used by the schools to determine that package. Here's an example SAI for the Smith family. The family lives in New Jersey. The parents are married. The household size is 4. So the 2 married parents and 2 children. The parents' 2023 adjusted gross income, $94,002. 0 assets. The student earned $50 and has $213 in assets. that student's calculated SAI is 8667. That indicates that there is no eligibility for a Pell Grant. Currently, the SAI for eligibility for a Pell Grant must be under 7395. So now putting it all together, the cost of attendance, the SAI, and then determined financial need. You will see on the top row there, the cost of attendance ranging from the low at the community college level, increasing and getting higher up to the private college or university. What doesn't change, what remains constant, is that SAI. So for example, at the community college, the calculated need for that student is 0. There will be no grant eligibility, but that student may still borrow under the unsubsidized federal direct loan program. At the state college or university, there is some calculated need, and the schools will attempt to fill that need with whatever grant or scholarship or loan programs are available. At a private college or university, because the cost is higher, the need is also higher. Now getting back to that award notification, the format may vary by institution. Most schools will make it available in hard copy, sent in the mail, and online. It does become available after the FAFSA has been filed successfully and the student has been offered admission. And clearly this is used to prepare financial aid packages. Some things to look out for on the award notification. Are there conditions on any institutional aid or scholarships that is being offered? Is there a grade point average and/or an earned credit requirement? If a student is eligible for any institutional aid, is the eligibility evaluated every year, or is it fixed for 4 years? If a student receives any outside scholarships, will this impact institutional aid? Does this financial aid package fill all of a student's need? Is there merit aid awarded? Is there need-based aid awarded? Perhaps there's both. Does this school's package include a parent loan? This is another take on an estimated award letter. This is a college financing plan. It is a shopping sheet that standardizes award letters and makes it easier to comparison shop. This is a requirement in the state of New Jersey, but it's voluntary outside of the state. These college financing plans clearly show how much 1 year of school will cost and what financial aid options are available to pay this cost, clearly differentiating between grants and scholarships and loans. Some things to be aware of as far as timelines and deadlines. From now until February, families should be reviewing deadlines, completing the FAFSA, completing the college search and the college application process, and completing the CSS profile if needed. From February to April, schools are sending out the estimated award notifications. May 1st is the candidate's common reply date or decision day. This is traditional at four-year schools. Last year it was extended because of all of the delays with the FAFSA, but it looks like everything's a go already this year, so May 1st will be the decision day. Once a student determines which school they will be attending, from June to August, the students will be building their fall class schedules attending orientation, and then the fall semester bill will go out. One thing to bring to your attention is special circumstances. Because the information on the FAFSA is 2 years old, and there is no option to not report the income from 2 years ago, a family may have been faced with a drastic change in their financial picture. And some of those cases are listed on the screen. If a family has faced any of these circumstances, they would need to contact the individual financial aid offices at the schools to request a special circumstance consideration. In certain cases, the financial aid office can adjust the income used on the FAFSA to recalculate eligibility. This is done on a case-by-case basis and may vary by institution. And as I mentioned, some of the acceptable conditions for requesting a special circumstance are listed there. Other resources. Outside scholarships. These are scholarships that a student seeks on their own. The high school guidance office is usually a good source of information for outside scholarships that are available in the community. Most colleges do administer a payment plan. At the College of New Jersey, we run on a 2-semester basis. We have a fall and a spring. The fall bill is due in August, and the spring bill is due in January. By entering into a payment plan, instead of having to make those 2 lump sum payments, you can spread the payments out over a 10-month period. It is not a loan, so there's no interest, but there isn't an annual enrollment fee. At TCNJ, it's $35 to enter into the payment plan to be able to spread the payments out. Another resource we talked about is the campus employment or the work-study program. Most offices hire student workers, and their schedule is flexible depending on their class schedule. This particular program isn't a credit on a student's bill, but it is spending money in their pocket. They're paid by the hour for the time that they put in. Schools may also offer some specialized campus opportunities, from residential advisors in the residence halls, student ambassadors or tour guides, and internships or co-op opportunities. This slide shows other search engines for the private scholarship searches. The state of New Jersey offers workshops and webinars, not only in person, but many are available online as well. Most of the dates shown on this screen have passed, but there are more, and they can be found at the HESA.org website. This is the customer service contact information for HESA. And now I would be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. Is there any disadvantage to not filling out the FAFSA?
Well, it is going to be a high school graduation requirement this year.
So New Jersey passed legislation that for this year's senior class, next year's junior class, and sophomore class. So if you have sophomore, junior, senior, it's a graduation requirement to submit it. However, they also instituted a waiver. So if you don't submit it, guidance counselor will be reaching out to say that we need you to submit the waiver. If the child's 18, they would actually submit the waiver. If you, for some reason, won't, and the child's not 18, the guidance counselor can submit the waiver. So there's a waiver if you don't submit it, but it is a graduation requirement.
What happens if your child fills out the waiver? Can you supersede that?
So if they fill out the waiver and you still want to submit the So we'll be able to, and we've never done this before, but we had to enter an agreement with ESA so that we won't be able to see anybody's financial information, but we'll be able to just see that you've completed it. So the student has submitted the application. So if you, because I believe if I was watching country, it's got to be student after marriage. But if you completed it, you would never try to obtain a waiver from the student.
The only thing to keep in mind is if it's your first child, first time attending college, it is recommended that you complete the form. It's free. And if down the line you fall into a special circumstance and or you find that you need to borrow under the private or alternative loans, most require a FAFSA be filed first.
Something else I'll add too. Outside scholarships, our guidance office will send out that package to your seniors, most likely before the winter break. So it'll be this month, so make sure they're checking their email. I'll try to make sure to include it in my newsletter too, so you guys see that it's been sent, and then you can tell your summer daughter to check their email for that outside scholarship package. Somebody have a question?
Yes.
You had mentioned that a couple, if they're not divorced and not separated and they're filing jointly, that they only need one ID. Or only one of them needs to get the ID.
Correct.
What if both of them did it and got an ID?
No harm, no foul.
Okay. Second question is, I believe you mentioned that only one has to fill the FAFSA out, or do both parents have to fill it out?
Only one will need the FSA ID to retrieve the federal tax information and sign the form.
So really only one parent will be completing the form,
Yes.
even if you have two IDs?
Yes.
Okay, and it doesn't matter which parent does it?
No,
No.
it does not matter.
Okay.
But this is a good time to mention that a FAFSA has to be completed each year, for each year of college. And if you have more than one in college, you're doing one form for each child for each year. Yes?
That was my question.
Oh, okay. I read you. Any other questions? Yes?
From your experience, how negotiable is merit? Merit that's like awarded from the schools?
Well, that, as I mentioned, at TCNJ, it's done by our admissions office.
Okay.
But I know that I have encouraged my brothers and sisters-in-laws to always contact the admissions office, even if an offer has been made, to make sure it's the best offer. Yes.
How do we find out what percentage of class are, like, when you talk about the community, like, is that available guidance, like, is the top 15%, or will that be reported some?
We have to report it. So we will report it. We reported it already probably for the junior year. It's due, I think, by January. I believe we've already submitted it. So for STARS you're talking about? Yeah, so that gets submitted by us to the state of New Jersey.
So once we complete the FAFSA, it will be done automatically, or?
Yeah, we've submitted it already.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll submit it again for senior year. I would imagine, I have to ask our, I imagine our senior year is submitted later this spring. But for junior year, it's,
Students here, yeah.
yeah, so we've already submitted it for the junior year.
Okay.
They qualify, I think I saw under junior or senior. So we submit that.
Yeah.
The school sent you an acceptance letter, and they said they have a certain monetary amount they're giving the child for that school. You haven't done FAFSA yet, and your FAFSA numbers come out. Does that number that they, school has offered you change depending on your FAFSA?
That should not affect a merit award. But some schools, once a student qualifies for merit, they may also qualify for need. So the FAFSA would determine the need, and therefore there might be a grant on top of the scholarship, if that makes sense.
out the slides as well. But probably not